Our next step is to make a difference wave. So this is a traditional oddball paradigm, and we've got rare stimuli, those are the red lines, and frequent stimuli, those are the black lines. And it's often useful to make a rare minus frequent difference wave. So let's see how to do that. So we'll close that window, and we'll go to ERPLAB, ERP Operations, ERP Bin Operations. So ERP Bin Operations allows you to recombine bins in any number of different ways. The simplest thing to do is just to add two bins or take a difference between them, but you can average them, you can take square roots of them, you can do just about anything you want to recombine your bins. So in this simple example, what we're going to do is we've got bin 1, which is the frequent, bin 2, which is the rare, and we want to compute a new bin 3, which is rare minus frequent. So we type in this left part of the window an equation that says bin 3 equals bin 2 minus bin 1. And there's no space between bin and the number. And then we should give a label to this. So we say label rare minus frequent difference. And you can have a whole set of equations if you want. Also, there are two different modes of operation indicated down here. In this mode, we're going to add new bins to an existing file. And you can also change the existing bins, which is a dangerous thing to do. There's another mode where you create a new ERP set where you just start from the beginning. You say my new bin 1 is going to be some combination of my old bins, my new bin 2 is going to be some other combination, etc. And so you create a new file based on the bins in your old file. But we're going to start by just using this modify existing ERP set version because we're just going to add a new bin in with our existing bins. Okay, so we have these equations here, and actually just one equation in this simple example, and we say run. And very quickly it continues and finishes up. Now it hasn't created a new ERP set because we've simply added a new bin to our existing ERP set. And if we wanted to, we could change the name of that bin, and there are tools for that, and save it to the hard drive and that sort of thing. Okay, now to see the results of our action, we're going to go back to ERPLAB plot ERP waveforms. Now, one thing to notice about plot ERP waveforms is that it remembers the last set of settings that you had before. So it's going to plot just bins 1 and 2. But now if you look at this bin menu, you can see, oh, there's a third bin that we can plot as well. So if we click that, it says bin 3. But let's plot all three bins, 1, 2, and 3. And we can click plot, and there it goes. So if you look here at the PZ electrode site, you can see the rare in red, the frequent in black, and the rare minus frequent difference wave is in blue. And you can see that at all the different channels. Now we're going to do a different kind of operation, a channel operation. So instead of recombining bins, we're going to recombine channels. And the most common use for that is to re-reference. And in fact, that's what we're going to do in this next example. We're going to re-reference to the average of the two mastoids. So these data were recorded with a left mastoid reference, but we also recorded this A2, this right mastoid, relative to the left mastoid. And to re-reference to the average of the two mastoids, you simply need to subtract half of the right mastoid from all of the other channels. And if you want to see the math behind that simple subtraction of half of the right mastoid, you can take a look at my book, which describes the math and shows how you derive that. Okay, so we want to subtract half of A2 from all the other electrodes, except usually you don't want to re-reference something like the vertical EOG, which is already a bipolar site, or the horizontal EOG. That shouldn't involve the mastoids at all. So we're just going to subtract half of A2 from the other channels, the non-artifact channels. Okay, so we can close this window and close that. And we're going to go back to ERPLAB and ERP Operations and ERP Channel Operations. Now there's also an EEG Channel Operations tool, which is basically the same except that it operates on the raw EEG. And usually you can re-reference before averaging or after averaging and get pretty much the same result. Okay, so we go to ERP Operations, ERP Channel Operations, and we get another one of these windows that gives us a bunch of equations. Now I could type in a separate equation for each channel that I want to re-reference, but instead I'm going to use the reference assistant that's going to help create those equations for me. And basically what you do is you indicate what it is that you want to subtract from the channels when you're doing the re-referencing. So here we want to subtract 0.5 times channel, and you can see over here that channel 15 is that A2 electrode site. So we put in channel 15. So what we're saying here is create a bunch of equations where 0.5 times channel 15 is subtracted from all of those equations. And we're also going to click this button here that says if a channel is not being re-referenced, include an equation for simply copying the channel. And we want to do that because we're going to exclude some of our channels here. We're going to exclude channels 14, 15, and 16. We don't want to re-reference the vertical EOG A2 and the horizontal EOG. We want to leave them the way they are. And this item that I just checked means that we'll get equations for just copying those channels so that we have them in our output. Oh, and I should notice here that I should have set this to create new ERPSS instead of modify the existing ERPSS, because I'm redoing the same channels over again, and it would not work right to modify the existing ERPSS. Now when I do that and I tell it create new ERPSS, it tells me, well, for doing that, I need a different set of channels. I need to say not that channel 1 equals channel 1 minus whatever. I need it to say new channel 1. And so it's going to correct it all for me. And so you can see now it says new channel 1 equals the old channel 1 minus 0.5 times channel 15, and then it gives it the original label. And it does that for all the channels except for the ones I told it to exclude, where it just copies them. New channel 14 is just equal to the old channel 14. Okay, now I click run, and it goes. It's fast, and we can make the name of this something like re-ref on the end. Click OK. And there we have it. Now we could plot the data again, but it would look very subtly different. I'd encourage you to actually try it and make sure that you can understand the differences between the original and the re-reference, but they will be subtle.